All right. So this is the April 2022 koha-US system admins meeting. Because I had to step away for a minute, but hopefully she'll be back. But we're gonna go ahead and get started. First on the general agenda is reports. So does anybody have any reports or anything they want to talk about in the reports realm? Problems you're trying to solve or cool reports you've written? Crickets. All right, I have one that I've been working on that I can share. That's causing me frustration a little bit. So my screen. So this is an overdues report that I've been working on that uses jQuery to generate a notice from a secondary report. So I added this button in that then pops up a modal that then staff members can copy and then paste into an email or a like if they're going to print a letter and mail it, that sort of thing. So this is sort of the additional overdues cleanup step that we add in beyond what Koha automates. And we've also, yeah, so they wanted a way to just get a brief quick notice that they can send. So I've been trying to write a report that can kind of generate that, which it works sometimes. So you can see that it's pulling in the information from a different report to build this table. But on this one, it's blank. And if I reload the page, then that one came in, but that one's blank. So I've been fighting with trying to make that work a little better. I'm pretty sure, I haven't looked at this in a few days, pretty sure it's the way that I'm calling in that report. So that one is, it's this big mess of junk. So it's adding in a button that then generates the notice and the modal pop up. And then it's pulling from this report and this report to kind of build those. So I think it's the JSON call that's like not working quite right. Like it needs to asynchronously load, but I haven't cracked that one yet. So that's my current problem. Neat report. Hi, Fred.
Hey, well, morning, everyone. Yeah, this is the meeting I keep missing.
So yeah, and Lizette's here, but she had to go make a phone call, so she put me in charge, and so I've just been sharing a report I did. It's
and
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm the only person here in the library today, so well, that's why I was late, because I was helping someone find medical records, and I'll probably get called away.
Just like that.
Like that.
That was a cool report and interesting putting buttons in the report. And is that only for print? You're going to use that to print and send something out that way, not through like email or?
I was trying to make it flexible enough where they could, so all it's got is that copy button. So when they copy it, they could paste it into an email or they could paste it into like a Word document to print. So either or. I know there are other ways that Koha can handle that. Like there's plugins that email notices and that sort of thing. And that's probably what I should be spending my time on and not trying to generate this within a report. But just kind of where my brain went. So that's what I've been playing with. Let's see. Does anybody else have any reports you're working on, reports you want to talk about, SQL questions? Oh, good, Lizette's back, maybe. Maybe not. Oh, there you are.
Hello. I'm back.
Oh,
I
I
couldn't
just-
hear you guys.
oh, I just shared an overdues report I'm working on that has a button in it that lets you generate a notice to copy out of.
Oh, nice.
It's buggy and I haven't figured out how to make it less buggy, but that's what I've been working on. And now I will toss it back to you.
Okay, sounds good. Does anyone else have any reports they've been working on lately? Okay. Does anyone have any like bugs that have come up in the last month that they want to talk about?
Well, sort of. Uh, yeah. The auto increment problem. I have to go in and delete a few things with SQL before I can take something off hold. Wasn't that supposed to be taken care of in a recent version?
I don't even remember when. What version are you on, Fred?
I was afraid you'd ask. I am on 2105.
Because I don't feel like we have that problem on 105. We had that problem a while ago on like 18 something, I think.
Yeah,
Something, and it got fixed.
I thought it was fixed. But of course, we only do maybe 1 or 2 holds every 6 months. So I don't know if that's significant. I'm gonna go back and see if.
I'm looking up on Bugzilla.
Okay.
That was patched.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if it comes up again, I'll make a note of it. See, under system information, I have no warnings.
It looks like it was this bug. Perhaps. It references the wiki page, and that wiki page references the bug. So
Yeah, this looks like it.
But it's closed fixed, not. So it might be that it wasn't a bug that fixed it, but that. Oh, wait, here's a.
did you go through the solution on this wiki page, Fred? Because it could be that you need to take the steps under current solution for it to stop happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing too.
Okay. Yeah, I'm familiar with this page.
Okay, here's a problem that we've run into a couple times that I'm just now seeing another email from yesterday about, where sometimes we're checking stuff in and it's not coming off patrons' accounts, but it looks like it is on the check-in screen, which was a problem we had a few years ago. and then that got fixed. But I guess just yesterday, someone checked the book in 3 times and it was still on the patron's account. She had to refresh the check-in screen before it would check in. And like, it even showed who the patron was, you know, like, but each time it said there were still 3 checkouts on the account.
I feel like someone's mentioned this before. I usually fall back to it's your scanner, but when they can visibly see on the screen that it should have checked in, then it's probably not the scanner.
Yeah, and that's kind of up until about a week and a half ago. It was happening so infrequently that we thought it might just be user error. And like, it wasn't always showing up on the screen that about 50% of the time it was showing up on the screen that it should have checked in, but nobody would give me a screenshot so I could follow up on it. And then about a week ago, it started happening a little bit more. Or more people started noticing it at least. And then I don't know, since Thursday forward, I have 163 unread emails right now because I was out of town, and that is the first one I've seen about it. But there might be more, so I'll probably put in a ticket with Bywater since I have like this nice little proof screen that has it doing it 3 times, so I can be like, what's going on here? But I have not yet been able to find any bugs about it, because I have looked a few times to see if I could find anything, but there has been nothing so far. But sometimes some of these bugs, it's like it's caused by some weird thing in the template, and the template, when you do the search, it doesn't come up because of the way the bug is written. But if I do find more out, I'll put it in the notes. That's pretty much the biggest thing that's been going on with us.
So we were one of the libraries that was affected by the upstream server crash. And so we've been recovering from that. We had about a little over a day, a Saturday, and some Friday evening transactions that were lost. And so Bywater helped us with reports and different things to try and get that all reconciled. And I think that's mostly taken care of now. But the thing we're dealing with is, so back in December, I guess, I worked with Bywater on the Amazon Web Services email stuff, and they told us to have our IT department put these SPF stanzas and stuff I don't even completely understand, but to have them put that in the DNS record. So I gave it to IT, and IT said they did it, and and things did seem to improve. So just a couple of weeks ago, we learned that, well, IT didn't really do all of that. So it's like, okay, so that's why we keep having patrons telling us, I'm not getting my whole pickup notices. And some patrons are, frustrated but nice about it. But there are some patrons that when they don't get their James Patterson and it's passed them by, they are not happy. So we've been dealing with that kind of thing. So I think we finally got IT to get all of that in there, and that seems to be working again. So the thing we're still dealing with is we had IT set up a specific mailbox that's notices.bedford library, blah, 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 for bounced emails. And it's in my return path default system preference. And I know the mailbox works because I was able to use the email address and send it to the people that received this and say, did you get it? And they all got it. But we never get anything that bounces to that. So am I missing something on the Koha side with setup? Does this sound like it's still probably an IT side thing that somehow, even though the email address is valid, things just aren't bouncing to it? Do I not understand how this works?
I don't know.
That's so helpful, Jason.
We
Well, I
can't
know-
always solve all the problems, people.
Well, I mean, I know that I have it set up and it always goes in my spam, but I have it set up so it's my address and the main system preference. So I get those bounce backs. I don't know if my libraries are getting bounce backs from their own individual return paths or not. But I think that it was working prior to all the Amazon Web Service stuff. So I don't know that that piece affects it. So it sounds like, I don't know, can you force some bounces maybe, and then have Bywater look at that and kind of see where it's getting stopped along the line? So like if you generate a notice to an email address that's fake, like definitely won't work. That should force a bounce, and then you can have them watch it maybe.
I have done that, but and you know, I've gone in and made my address invalid, trapped a hold, and then, you know, and I don't get the message because it's an invalid, but I don't get the bounce, but I haven't actually had them follow it. So I could do that and maybe they'd be able to tell me something. It's a good idea.
I guess I will say that that stuff does all go to my spam, like without fail. And sometimes we've got like 2 layers of inboxes going on, which is a different problem, but like sometimes it gets caught up in the first spam folder and then never gets to my actual inbox. So I have to kind of dig back through the layers, but you probably don't have that same sort of issue. But if you have like, if you're checking it in like a client like Outlook, but there's actually like something that goes through first, like ours goes through a webmail server and then we route that to our clients. So sometimes it gets hung up in that webmail server and never gets to the actual client.
And that's stuff that's on your, like your IT side, your local
Yeah,
side.
yeah, that's just how our email is set up right now.
Yeah, I don't really understand how it all works. I just expect that if I pick up the cup with the string on my end, it's supposed to get to the person with on the other end.
Yeah, and
You know,
sadly the string's like broken and tied back together with gum, and
Yeah.
it's a mess. Yeah.
but there's no other setting on the Koha side other than that return path default that I need to be setting up for bounces. That's my understanding, is that's the only thing I need.
Yeah, the only other thing is like if you have something in your library setting, so in the library's administration part, every branch has its own setting for that. So I think that it might prioritize that return path over what's in the system preference. So if there's something in there, it might be
Okay,
interfering.
I will look at that. And it's got the main library email address. And what we have is we've got like groups of CERC people and some others that are all on the main library email address. And then we did the same thing on the notices email address so that more than one people can see what's happening. But I might just try changing it there to this notices and see if anything happens. Thank you.
Okay. Does anyone else have any system things they'd like to talk about? System administration things?
Well, eventually I'm going to have to, or I would like to start sending out overdue notices. Our IT folks have finally kind of acknowledged, they sort of know about that we moved the system outside the firewall instead of the internal server. It's getting really old. But I didn't want to have a lot of email running through their system that they didn't know about. It's a long story, 2 years. But I'll probably be back saying, what's going on?
Yeah, I would just say that notices are one of the biggest headaches, trying to figure
Yes.
out what's working, because a lot of that happens outside of Koha, and
Yes.
you have to be able to decipher things, the jargon that it's all jarbled up mess. Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah. It was working fine on our old server, but then it suddenly stopped. And it was definitely a hardware problem because when I moved Koha to a test server, all these overdue notices went out to people who had returned their books months ago.
Oh no. Yes, this is why if you have a Bywater test server, they will not turn on any notices for you. Those cron jobs all get turned off when they set up the test server. And
Yes.
yeah.
Fortunately, our circulation is pretty low. So when I said all these messages, maybe
Yeah.
a couple hundred.
As opposed to like if that happened on like our test server or Jason's test server, it would probably crash the server trying to send all of
Yeah,
them.
hundreds of thousands, I would think.
Yeah.
I mean, this was several months worth of messages.
Yeah, it would definitely crash the server if it tried to send them off of one of our test servers. So, yeah. I don't have a ton of Koha related things. I've mostly been we got like a ARPA grant last year and we've been finally buying a bunch of the hardware that we asked for. So most of what I've been doing the last month is ordering hardware and setting it up when it arrives and setting up computers in our new workroom because part of our construction is finally done. So that's been going on since Labor Day and was supposed to be done last year. But supply chain issues. Like we didn't get tile for the bathrooms, which as far as I know is still ongoing until like a month ago. But they got ordered in August. You know, things like that.
I was away for 2 weeks and got a new printer.
Ooh.
Yeah. Your printer, copier, fax, if that line ever gets activated. I don't have to spend several hours a week. Okay, that's an exaggeration. Unjamming the copier, and then when this thing falls out, I can't fix it myself. I have to call in the service person.
Oh yeah, we also got a new copier in the last month. We like lease our copiers from Rico. And our old ones were almost 6 years old. We have nice new ones that can like connect with an app and stuff if you want to print off your phone.
Fancy.
Yeah, it's very, or you can scan to your phone too, which is nice.
Nice. Probably can't do it here because of security issues. But what ours came over here when the library moved in 2013. That wasn't new then.
Oh man. Yeah, well, and these ones are like public, like our public copier.
Mm-hmm.
Staff can also use. And the one we had from 6 years ago was so slow just because it had been used so much. Because we get so much copying and printing done. So,
Digging through my scraps of paper that are all over my desk because that's my life.
I know, I'm like, well, I'd look at my email from older than last week, except I still can't log into my computer.
Does anybody use the offline circulation tool like regularly?
I mean, yes, we use it, the one that you download and install, not the Firefox extension.
Yeah.
Whenever we have like an internet outage, which happens fairly frequently at some of our rural branches.
Do you use the patron database functionality
No.
on it? So you just
And we
have
don't
them
do
scan their
check-ins on
card.
it. We only do checkouts, and then we
Okay.
don't check anything in until those files have all been processed.
Do you have a solution for date due slips?
Yes, I just make a little thing in Notepad that says all books are due whatever date, all DVDs whatever date,
I mean, that works.
and then we
I had
print
a
it out.
library, so I haven't been doing much fun stuff because I had a migration. And that library was large and they're coming from III, so they had like this nice fancy self or offline circulation tool that does all this different stuff. And so I was trying to like come up with ways to kind of soften the blow so that they'd still have that functionality. But one of the things they asked about was printing slips, and I was like, I don't think it does that by default because it doesn't know when the things are due. There's no way for it to know that without referencing circ rules. And I'm sure offering them put it in a notepad and print it probably wouldn't be their favorite solution, but I guess that's an idea.
Yeah, and we don't even have them like copy the titles or anything. We just say like any books checked out today or to this date. I guess the big Koha thing we did was we switched from circ and fine rules following the patron or the item home library to circ and fine rules following the item checkout wherever you're checking out from library. And we also standardized our circ and fine rules across our consortium for all our books, DVDs, new books, new DVDs, Blu-rays, audiobooks, all formats, and book club kits. And then we're probably going to do another wave, like when the school's back, where we're going to talk about like, I think all of us actually have the same hotspot rules and things like that. A few things like that, but for now, we just set each of those at the libraries that actually have them. And then I set the most restrictive one at whoever had the most restrictive rules at all libraries, so that if someone's checking out somehow at a different library, because these are all also things that don't transfer, except like our hotspots for Latah County transfer to other Latah County branches, but not through the courier to the rest of the consortium. So, like, it shouldn't happen that someone can be checking it out at a different branch, but just in case, we set all up.
I ran into a problem where because we didn't have enough item types, we had cake pans circulating like hotspots because they were both sitting in like Realia or something. I don't know. So I'm working on cleaning all that up and creating like dual item types for everything like that. So one for locally held items, which hotspots are always locally held, and one for I'm switching from Realia because that's a library term to thing. So we're working on our library of things terminology to make it more patron friendly. So that's a big project that I'm in the middle of and haven't started on, etc. I presented it at my last users group and I haven't gotten, nobody was like, no, don't do that. So now I have to get to work on moving things around and stuff.
Yeah. We've also been cleaning up item types and stuff. Like there were a few that we had that had like 2 items left in them that maybe had more at one point. So like cleaning that up, and there's a couple that we're going to rename because they're just things like 14-day checkout. And I'm like, well, that's not really helpful if you're trying to find out what's there. So like there's been talk about turning that into like 2 things, because there's a bunch of like DVD seasons are mostly in that because they're longer checkout. But then like a couple of the branches use them for like other things. And things like that. And there's some we're probably going to add, some new ones we'll probably add too. But we're just kind of trying to do it in like stages so that we don't overwhelm, especially the schools, which are closing soon. Like next month, we'll start having them not send things out anymore. So.
I don't know, Jason, maybe things isn't the best.
It's also not the worst.
True.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it's gonna work for what we want. So my division is like thing and equipment. So thing are low tech, equipment are high tech. And that gives me enough to sort of granulate out the rules. Like equipment can circulate shorter than basketballs or whatever. And it also gives the right sort of handles for searching and browsing in the advanced search, which is something I'm always trying to improve on. So I couldn't come up with a better term, and library of things is kind of one of those buzzwords that's getting more popular, and it's definitely more understandable than realia
Yes,
at least.
but I was thinking of how many times Lisette used the term thing, about 5 different contexts, all of which were perfectly grammatically correct.
Yeah, we call our basically what Jason's saying, like our things, our Voyager kits. Like our cake pans are part of a baking kit that also includes like measuring cups and stuff and a few other things. And then our tech is like either hotspots are their own, but the rest of our tech is part of the make kit collection, which has all of our like higher tech stuff that circulates except hotspots. And so both of those like the maker kit kind of came around back just before I started at the library, and then the Voyager kits are about 5 years old at this point, I think.
Yeah, and I've also got kits as another category. Like, so I have some things that are just standalone things, and then I have the kits that are combined. And I'm adding the granularity for that part of it in the shelf locations. So we've got baking tools and the cake pans go in there, and then making one that's like science equipment, because my libraries have microscopes and telescopes, things like that. And then sports and fitness. So yeah, and then the overarching collection code is just library of things.
Nice.
Yeah, we just had to order another carpet cleaner and another pressure washer because of the number of holds we have on those particular items.
Yes, you folks have problems I can't even imagine.
Yeah, you want to talk about our circulating bed bug zapper?
Actually, I came up with a new problem this morning. It's not, I don't know what it fits into, not system administration.
I'm not sure I'd want that bed bug zapper back.
Well, you're supposed to empty it, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's supposed to kill everything. So it's basically just like a tent with a heater and cook them. So I guess when it comes back, I don't know. We had talked about cooking it when it comes back, just to make sure they're all dead.
Yeah,
do
get in
cooked
another
bed
one that you
bugs.
can put that one inside of.
A slightly larger one, and then just keep going.
Yeah, but then you'd have to have an infinite number.
We talked. Somewhere around the state, they built one that was like in a garage or something, so we could put everything in there.
Okay, something odd happened this morning. Well, not odd, but something I hadn't thought of before. Someone, among other things, we have medical knowledge self-assessment programs. They won't mix app, and we have the audio companion because they won't sell us the print copy anymore at the library. So someone came in to check one out. It's a CD filled with MP3s, except none of our computers in the library has a CD reader, and I think IS has cut or won't allow people to plug in USB sticks anymore. Haven't tried it recently, but I was trying to hook up a CD player to my new computer, which is older than the copier. So what? And of course, a lot of people don't have CD players or readers on their home computers. Has anyone faced this and have a solution for it?
I mean, we just have like portable CD drives that we keep with our laptops. That's kind of what we go to if we need something for like that, I think. So that could be something, a thing you could circulate, or a device you could circulate with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how else you would read the CD without some sort of CD drive.
Another strange situation.
I guess if you want to get in trouble, you could rip the MP3s and then make them available digitally.
Well, I do have backups just in case the CDs don't come back.
Yeah, so I mean, if you kept it on the down low, maybe that's an alternate solution.
Or how am I going to download them if I don't have a USB?
No, I mean, like you could secretly email them to whoever checked out the CD or
Yeah.
something like that.
We're recording, aren't we? That might be a possibility that I would
You
not.
never do that, because
No,
it violates copyright, and it's
Yes.
probably illegal on several levels. But yeah, if you could transmit the digital file somehow, that might be a solution.
Yeah.
I see Daphne's squares lighting up, but I don't hear anything.
Oh, I'm here. I'm just listening to pick up all these nuggets of information, but I'm afraid I don't have anything to offer on these. We don't do things in Ireland.
Well, it hasn't stopped me from contributing.
Yeah, we're just getting ready to do 2111 upgrades. So that's sort of consuming all my time at the moment. So I'm delighted to hear there aren't any disasters people are talking about. So
Which one are you going to?
2111.
We have not yet. Oh, right. No, we haven't upgraded to that yet.
Yeah, we sort of, well, because most of our clients are academic, they like to do it in the summer when the students are not there. So we tend to just go with the November one. So hopefully all the problems have been ironed out. It's too risky to go with the new one that'll be coming out, you know, next month. So that's, I'm preparing test plans at the moment. So
Yeah, I think we don't have dates yet for when we're getting updates, but I think someone told me that Bywater early adopters are going to be May, probably.
Yeah, I think that's what I heard. And they told me that we would probably get the upgrade late July, early August, and we're not an early adopter.
Yeah, and test servers should be in May as well. Whenever right before the early adopters start upgrading is when the test servers get updated. And we're looking forward to it. I think, I don't remember what specifically, but there were a few things that we were like, oh yeah, we definitely need to do like look through all the bugs. We always look through the release notes and see what's going on.
yeah, there's quite a few nice things coming in acquisitions with logging, and our clients are really keen on that. So
yeah.
And very nicely in the test plans, they've prepared all these reports to allow you to test it. So it's very handy, all these SQL reports.
Oh, nice.
So other than that, I have nothing. I realized I hadn't muted, so I'm glad you didn't hear any other. But that's obviously where it was lighting up. You were just picking up me breathing or something.
I was just worried that you were talking, but your mic wasn't picking up or something. So
All right, no, I'm breathing. I am alive. So
Good.
Oh, that'll be nice. Highlight patrons from logged in library and patron searches. If you're doing a search, that'll be helpful for us because we have a lot of similar names in our consortium. You know, like families who live where there's like a ton of whatever family in the consortium. That'll be nice. I'm just kind of speeding through this to see. Ooh, the adding a hold reminder messaging preference. We haven't turned on the hold reminder messages because we wanted to wait until this came through, where we can have a reminder go out if the person wants it. I think that'll be helpful.
yeah, and you've got to define them and then update all your patron preferences because it's sort of a new switch because it's technically a new notice. So bit of work on that.
Oh, and the main contact method in the patron field. A new field in the patron record for main contact method. which I know Christopher at CIN has like a patron attribute he uses for that kind of thing to help generate the right kind of printed slips on holds, so that like the phone the patron ones come out based on that. And I think that's something that we're gonna be interested in talking about, at least at Valnet.
Can you do that with template toolkit? Like,
Yes, that's how I do.
okay,
Except, well, so I do it just based on how we've always done it since Valnet's been on Koha is if they have an email, or now if they have an email or a text message number put in, whether or not they have notices turned on, it prints the slip like they are getting an email. And we make sure to tell people that if they like don't want, say they don't want notices but put an email in anyway for some reason, we make sure that they know that. And some
didn't think about that. So it can't reference the fact that they've got the messaging preferences set.
not
Right.
that I've been able to figure out, no. You probably can, because I know with template toolkit you can like technically reference anything in Koha. You just have to figure out how to connect it all together, basically. But I haven't done anything that complicated. I just remember Kyle talking about that at Koha in Portland, KohaCon in Portland.
Yeah, because we're using a patron attribute right now too, and that confuses people.
Yeah.
Because they think that if they're picking the patron attribute, then it's turning it on, when in reality it's just putting that on the message, but they have to check the boxes down below.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess I could tie those two things together.
Hi, good evening.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Good evening, Pastor Sunita here from India.
I'm noticing a lot of like adding spans to like patron category codes and patron search results and just things like that, which should make, jQuery easier for a lot of things. I have a number of jQueries that are like the fifth child of this table. So I'm hoping we might be able to simplify some of that. Some consistency on restrictions and notes and stuff on the checkout versus patron details screen. Oh, make the account summary print tables configurable. Because right now that just prints all the checkouts, finds, and holds, I think. But you'll be able to decide which of those actually print using the column configuration. Oh, the code mirror syntax highlighting is going to recognize column placeholders as something separate. So like where you say this as new header, that'll work better in the code mirror.
There's a lot of mentions of this flat picker thing. It looks like it's replacing the current date picker. So that's going to be kind of a major noticeable thing, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, there it is. Well, this begins the process of replacing it. Oh, and it will also replace the time picker add-on eventually. This will just be circulation renew, reports patron stats wizard, and administration patron categories. Oh wait, and then it has it on a bunch of other things. Acquisitions, circum patron, admin, yeah. It looks like probably most. It doesn't yet have a like remove the jQuery one, but yeah, it's gonna be on a lot of stuff there. Oh, renaming the news tool to additional contents with news and HTML customizations as two different categories. That'll be nice. I know that's been annoying to people as we've.
Nita has a question. Can we replace check-in to returned and check-out to issue? Probably could, but you'd have to go in and modify some templates.
Or use jQuery.
Probably easier.
But it depends, like, do you want it everywhere or just the, like, the up at the top, like the search bar? In messages? Oh, like in the email alerts, in the messages that actually go out, or in the message settings, like on the patron everywhere? Okay. Because those are going to be, I mean, you can do that with jQuery. Well, you might be able to replace everything that way if you just say if text equals. Trying to think of the best way to do that. If text equals check-in, replace it with returned. Check-in seems like. Yeah, I would think probably jQuery would be the easiest way to do that, but it's still probably going to be kind of complicated if you want to do it everywhere and have like formatting stay consistent and stuff. But, or like Fred said, go edit the template, but then that also becomes potentially problematic.
Yes. Edit templates, it's really easy to break.
What?
If you add or if you mess with templates, it's really easy to break them.
Yeah, exactly.
Trust me. That's why the author's catalog is still running on 17.
I mean, I'm almost thinking about like one thing that I've done in WordPress to do that is actually create a translation file and upload that for WordPress plugins. But I don't know how well making like your own translation for Koha that changed that would work. Might be easier to just do the jQuery. But I'm not really sure where to get started with that. If any available, please share the link. Yeah, I'm not sure if any of the every other Thursday videos have talked about just like changing what something's called.
There are the sort of basic getting started with jQuery videos, but
Oh yeah, I'm sure that there's some of that.
See if I can find it. I think, yeah,
I'm
George may
sure
have mentioned it there.
George talked about changing surname to last name in one of those.
This would
So
probably be like.
There's a link to that playlist.
This would probably be like using a becaue to pick up a violet, but you could do it in a whole do translation of koha with all the terms that you would like to change. Like a massive effort for not much
Yeah.
result.
Queries are easier, even if you end up having to write multiple jQuery statements to do it.
Yeah.
Keep like links and stuff functional.
I found one of mine, which is a simple change the surname to last name. I don't know if that'll help, just to kind of see how you would do it for one particular place.
Yeah. I wonder if
I just found this on Stack Exchange, but like, or Stack Overflow, whatever. So that'll replace the word color with color everywhere. So you could try that for your terms. It may take some extra work. And I pasted the wrong thing in. So this is
and
the
then
one.
in notices that go out, you'd have to do change it in the notice itself, in the notices and slips. What was the second one you sent, Jason? There?
The second one is the correct one. The first one is that does not work. So that's the /G is the slashes in the G are regex to tell it to do global changes. I don't know if it'll work. I haven't tested it, but it might work.
Here, I'm just trying it in my test server. Change checkout to issue. Oh, space. There's a space there. Did it as one word.
Yeah, it's not doing it for me.
At least not on the search bar. Yeah, not on the. Oh, in some places it's one word and in some places it's two words. That's fun.
Yeah, you have to kind of find all the different scenarios. It's not, I guess, what we're coming to the conclusion that it's not a super simple task to do, but it's probably doable with a little work.
Yeah. Well, we're at the hour. I think that's probably all our time for today. I've got to go get ready for my other two meetings. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording. Our next meeting is May 10th. May 10th at the same time. 8 Pacific, 10 Central, 11 Eastern. Right.
Mountain time zone is an invited.
What?
And the mountain time zone
10
is
mountain.
invited. No, it's 9 mountain.
9 mountain. Oh gosh. My time zone math is all.
Now do UTC.
What?
Do UTC. No. I can't do that in my head. I have to use the converter.
Isn't that like, is UTC 8 hours ahead of us?
Depends on where us is.
ahead of me.
Yeah.
What Daphne, are you in UTC?
No, I'm at 5 o'clock now, so I'm about to finish. I've only half an hour to go. The rain has stopped, so I can go for a walk in half an hour.
Oh yeah, we have
I mean,
snow
it's
here.
not raining.
Imagine rain in Ireland.
Yeah, it never stops, right?
It wasn't raining a whole lot when I was in Ireland.
No, we arranged that specially.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, no, we got tricked last month. We got some nice weather for about 2 weeks, and we thought, oh, wonderful. But it's back to April showers.
Uh,
And while we've no snow, we had really bad hail last week. So
Yeah, we got about 5 inches of snow yesterday.
ooh,
So
well, we got rain. That's 45 in India.
wow.
That's hot.
Yeah.
so okay, well, I'm gonna end the screen recording.
Take care. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Well,